Welcome to Eternal Freedom. Today we are going to explore free will. Do we have free will? Or is everything predestined? Do we have an ability to choose? What choices do we have? So an interesting example would be when you're crossing the road. You have a few choices available to you. You can, of course, stand in the middle of the road and get run over by a bus. Or you can stay on this side of the road or cross to the other side of the road. All those choices are available to you. But which option do you choose? Clearly, if you are a sane person, you're not going to choose the option to stand in the middle of the road and get run over. And if you're highly risk averse, you're probably going to stay on this side of the road and wait for all the traffic to go away. And if you, like most people, have been conditioned to first look to the left, look to the right, then look to the left, no traffic is coming, then you cross the road, well, then that's what you will do. So in all these cases, your options have already been pre-selected for you. Your choices have been pre-selected by your conditioning, by your thought process, by how you have been brought up. And it is very similar to when you watch a movie. Two things happen when you watch a movie. There are these good guys, the bad guys in the movie, and you strongly identify with the good guys. And you will have a very strong identification with the good guys, the value system of the good guys, because that appeals to you, that aligns to your value system. And so what happens is, as the movie goes through its emotional ups and downs, you also start feeling those emotions as well. And you're so strongly identified with the characters in the movie that you will those characters, you want those characters to win. And the sense of ownership makes you believe that your willing certain outcomes is what is driving those outcomes. But in actual fact, the movie has already been pre-scripted. Whatever you say, whatever you do, they are not going to impact the outcomes of the movie. The second aspect of the movie is that when you look at the dialogue delivery, the actions in the movie, the way the actors are behaving, they're talking, it all appears quite dynamic. It appears that the bad guy says something, the good guy does something in response to that, and then the bad guy does something else, and then that just flows. It flows in such a way that it appears that each of the actors and the characters have free will. Their free will is determining what is happening in the movie. And that's the appearance, and that's the illusion of the movie. But in actual fact, and we all know that when you look at behind the scenes, what's happening when a movie is made, there are countless rehearsals of each of those scenes. But also there is a script that is predetermined, that governs the way the actor behaves, the way the actor talks, the way their dialogue delivery, their expressions, everything is governed by that script. And the director is the one directing it. But only when you look at that aspect of the movie, you realize that everything that is there is already pre-scripted, predetermined. And it's kind of similar to when you look at um, prime ministers and presidents and CEOs delivering speeches. It appears they're extempore. They're talking, they're exercising their free will when they're talking. And when you ask them a question, even the response appears to be very much like a dynamic kind of response. But what you don't know when you look at behind the scenes, that everything that they're saying is scripted. Everything has been written in a script. The advisors, the strategists, the consultants, the coaches, etc., they have made sure that the politician or the leader is prepped up. And they have even rehearsed, the frequently asked questions that will come up. But that's how it is in the background. But the way it appears to us is that it's all dynamic. And we make assessments and judgments of people based on what we see, not knowing that a lot of that is already pre-scripted. It is kind of similar to what happens with us, with our egoic body-mind structure. A lot of the choices that we believe we have, and that those choices come about because we believe we own things. In actual fact, all of those things are not owned by us, but that is just an illusion. So we believe that everything that we are doing, because we own it, we are taking those actions and we hence have free will. But in actual fact, if you look at how we behave, the very thought of doing something or not doing something, that's already predetermined based on our karmic baggage, based on our conditioning, based on the desires we have adopted from other people. Almost 80 to 90% of our desires are adopted. So how is it possible for us to act with free will when we are really, really acting on things that are already been defined? So from a egoic body-mind structure perspective, there is no free will, but it appears there is free will. When you look at things from a dualistic standpoint, everything that appears is an experience. All experiences are here and now. There are infinite possibilities, and all those possibilities are here and now. So when you look at from the experiencer's point of view, there is no free will. Who has free will? The body-mind structure is also an experience. It's got various possibilities associated with it, and all those possibilities are here and now. So from a dual standpoint as well, there is no free will. And of course, if you look at it from a standpoint of non-duality or oneness, the experience, the experiencer, all of that is existence. There is no ownership, there is no doership, there is no free will. If there is no ownership or doership, who has free will? No one has free will. So in summary, exploring the egoic body-mind structure, the dual perspective, the non-dual perspective, from all those perspectives, there is no free will. And that free will, that sense or that illusion of free will appears only because we tend to take ownership of things. We tend to grasp things, and we tend to associate things with our egoic body-mind structure, we as in the egoic body-mind structure, and it is only prevalent in that perspective, more so in that perspective. So what do we have to do around doership? Or the other question that people ask is, well, why do I have to do anything? Why should I do anything if there is no free will? That's a very good question. If you go back to that example of the movie, the script is already written. So what is the character doing? What is the actor doing? They are rehearsing and rehearsing till their dialogue delivery is perfect, till they're happy with that dialogue delivery. And why are they rehearsing? Because they want to ensure that they're doing their best. Just like in a movie, every character or every actor is playing its character to almost perfection or to the best of their ability. Similarly, we also need to play our role to the best of our ability, because that is what we are here for. There is a role that we have to play. There's a role of a father, of a son, or a mother, or a daughter, or a friend. All those roles are ones that we need to play. The script is written. Now, option is ours. We play them badly, or we create more consequences in the future through karma, or we play them to perfection. And so one interesting thing happens when you play your role to perfection, and when you get absorbed in the role, you suddenly start enjoying what you're doing. And the key to this is not multitasking. Whatever you do, do your best. Do your best in what you're doing, whichever role you're performing or whichever activity you're doing. And when you do your best, you get absorbed in that particular activity. And when you get absorbed in that activity, you start enjoying it. And you get this heightened level of enjoyment, this alertness, this happiness. And that happiness or that enjoyment that you get is to a level where you you do not care about the outcomes. The journey itself becomes so enjoyable that the outcomes are then irrelevant. And that's when true non-doership arises. In that state, you are totally free from karma. You're free from your results of doing, because the role that you're performing is highly focused, very without this ownership, without this sense that I have free will, that I own everything. You are then just an instrument. You are doing what you're doing to the best of your ability, without distractions, in an absorbed state, and you become the instrument of the universe. And that is the secret of non-doership and of activity. Thank you for listening.